All right. It's Tuesday night. We got the Contender Series coming up in just over an hour. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to make this video in time. I'm going to try to run through all the matchups really quickly. Um, Overall, this week doesn't really seem too promising to me. Um, the two guys in the main event, Geraldo Souza looks very well rounded, very strong, good striking. Wasn't too impressed with what I saw from Nick Klein, but I think the last fight of his that I watched was from a year ago or a little bit older than that. But first matchup of the night, Muhammad Adu versus Jonathan McAuliffe. Adu fighting out of Canada by way of Africa, I believe. I forget what country. Jonathan McAuliffe fighting out of Australia. He's going to have, a little bit of a height advantage, a little bit of a reach advantage, nothing significant. They're both young, 24 and 25 respectively. The fight odds seem to be pretty even. I was impressed with Adu's fighting style. He seems very relaxed and calm. He's a good striker. He's got great kicks. His boxing didn't seem too crisp. He did that thing that some beginner boxers do, where when they're throwing their right hand, you're supposed to pivot on your back foot. But some guys do this thing where they lift up their back foot and bring their back foot behind them instead of pivoting, and you don't get as much power. You can't really sit down as hard that way. He does have great kicks, though, and power in his kicks. And good wrestling. Good wrestling. Jonathan McAuliffe's striking did not, I don't know, it didn't seem impressive to me. He's got one of these fight styles where you're like, all right, this guy's strong and athletic, but I think that's kind of what's getting him ahead. I'm going to go with Muhammad Adu. I think he's a little cleaner on the feet. He's got good wrestling. He's got submission wins. He started as a kickboxer, but recently he's been getting a lot of submission wins. So I'm going to go with Adu. He seems more well-rounded, more calm and confident in there. So that's what I'm going to do with that first matchup. Second matchup, Julieta Martinez versus Leslie Hernandez. Okay. Just looking at the stats here, 5-1 for Martinez. 5-1. That's very short. But she does have a 100% finish rate, I believe. Let me go back. I was looking at them both before. Let me see her fight history. Submission, decision. Oh, no, she's got one decision on there. Submission, decision, KO, TKO, TKO, KO, TKO, submission. Seems to be well-rounded. Most of her wins are coming by KO, TKO, and she's undefeated at 7-0. I was watching clips on both of them. Neither of them seemed like too clean, although they started in kickboxing, both of them, I believe. I don't know. I'll probably go with Julieta just because she's undefeated, 7-0, and has all finishes other than one decision wins. So that's the way I'm going to go there. Okay, next matchup up at featherweight, Antonio Montero. He's one of these guys that, like, the UFC recruits these guys. Who's another one of these guys? Joe Anderson Brito, that just come in from Brazil, and they've got a ton of experience already. 17-4-1 is an amazing record. He's fighting Yadier del Valle from Cuba, 7-0. The odds are very even on, like, all of these fights, and that's kind of like what I was thinking when I was watching tape on these guys, is that these matchups seem pretty even. Just watching kind of their fight styles. We don't really have a ton of, like, grappler versus striker matchup, except for in the main event. Nick Klein is mainly a grappler, but Geraldo Souza also has some grappling chops. I'm going to go with Antonio Montero. When I was watching tape on him, he looked a little bit more impressive. Reminds me of Joe Anderson Brito, like well-rounded, power, gritty, can kind of hang everywhere. Del Valle, he had clean striking, but he looked like he kept his head on the center line a lot. Some guys physically, it's a little bit harder for them to have this motion. He looks one of these guys that's just like his striking's good, he's got good kicks, but his back and his neck is real straight up. So I'm going to go with Antonio Montero. I think he's going to have the advantage in well-roundedness, and I think he's going to come out aggressive. On to the next one. Luis Gurul out of USA, Nick Piccinini out of USA. Nick Piccinini, he's been on the Contender Series before. They're bringing him back because he didn't have an impressive performance. He's mainly a grappler. Luis Gurul, he's well-rounded. I've seen him knock people out. He can hang on the ground. I've seen a couple fights where he had with some really strong jiu-jitsu players. He was able to take them down and kind of avoid falling into any danger. I don't see him getting submitted by Piccinini, which would seem to be his method of finish if he had to get a finish. I'm going to go with Luis Gurul here. On to the main event, Nick Klein versus Geraldo Souza. I'm really confused why this is the main event. Nick Klein did not look very impressive when I was watching tape on him. His striking leaves a lot to be desired. Geraldo Souza looks way more well-rounded. He's got good striking. Not great, but good. Souza's going to have a big reach disadvantage, but I don't think that's really going to matter because Nick Klein doesn't seem to know how to use it very well. I'm going to go Geraldo Souza getting it done. But what method? How do I think he's going to get this one done? I think he's better on the feet. I think he'll hurt Klein on the feet. Maybe he'll get taken down, but then he'll get back up and do work on the feet. And maybe he's got better jiu-jitsu than Klein. Who knows? Not really excited particularly for any of these matchups except for maybe the first one, Muhammad Adu, and maybe Antonio Montero, I think would be probably the matches to watch out for. Luis Gurul is good too. He's 9-0. He's very strong, big for the division. He's cutting down to flyweight, which is kind of crazy to me because, he is 5'5", but he is very big muscle-wise for the division. That was my quick breakdown of tonight's Contender Series. If it goes well, I'll probably drop a reactions post-Contender Series, who maybe I would like to see the winners go up against in the UFC if they get contracts. So there it is. Peace.